Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of this video. We will continue to use a V model to understand the correlation between project activities and the associated test phases. Let's start by revisiting the project activities you were shown in the last lesson. You may recall that we had a project start activity. This occurred after a project initiation document including the budget was fully approved. The project would then complete several activities, some of which created project design documents. These deliverables are usually delivered sequentially, starting with the operational requirements document. After the coding was completed, we discussed the next possible activity, which was a code walkthrough. Before we get to the project endpoint, we would need to run several test phases. So let's pick it up from there. We will start with unit testing, which is meant to be a low-level test of code before it's integrated into more complex components for the next level of testing. For example, validating input values, then generating error messages when a value is incorrect. From years of observations, this is often done by the same developers who write the code. It's a bit of a poacher and gamekeeper situation, but sometimes this can also be done by a peer or development lead. Either method is better than having no testing and then finding issues in later test phases. Component tests can best be described by making an analogy to an aircraft. You would test one component, like an engine, in isolation before it gets integrated to the wing. Earlier in this course, we looked at a satellite television application where a job management component was just one part of an overall system. At this point, it's worth mentioning that a test phase could derive information from more than one project design document. There is no hard and fast rule, as you will see with other test phases. Integration testing is where you start plugging the components together, like putting an aircraft engine onto the wing, or for example in a bank, moving money from a current account to a savings account. System or functional testing is where we start looking at the end-to-end, fully built system. For our aviation example, we are now starting flight tests. On the satellite television example, we are taking customer orders, providing online product quotes, billing customers, and creating installation jobs. User acceptance testing should be based on the user's business requirements. However, they often refer to other design documents for some of the details like how to navigate through the application. Don't be surprised if business users test the application in an ad hoc way, without using any of the original use cases they created. You need to keep an eye on this so they don't raise issues that contradict their documented requirements. Finally, we have the operational acceptance tests. This is normally a checklist that needs validation based on the operations team's original requirements. It will usually happen after the other test phases are completed. When this activity is complete and the system is accepted, the project can start the closure process or move on to the next phase of deliveries. In addition to the testing you can see here, other test activities could occur at any point in the project. Most of these have been covered in this course already, but I would just like to discuss a couple that I haven't mentioned yet. Compatibility tests. A great example of this would be to test an online application against different web browsers such as Firefox, Edge, and Chrome. This could take place in any test phase. Exploratory tests. This is usually where there is no detailed documentation being created. Testing is based on a deep understanding of a system based on collaborative design between business users, testers, and software developers. This technique is handy for mature teams and smaller projects, but not really suitable for larger projects with big teams. In this V model, we used a typical set of project activities and deliverables you may or may not use on your project. The same is true of the test phases we described. These will vary dramatically from project to project, as will the quality of the various documents. Please remember this and be prepared for a flexible approach. This will help to keep your stress levels down. You will now understand where the various test phases fit into a project, but not all projects use the same methodology. In the next few lessons, we will look at a few popular project methodologies to get an overview of how they work. These are popping up on the screen now. Understanding how these work will help you seamlessly fit into most projects. I will see you there. Remember, all lessons are free, so please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing and allows us to keep creating free content for you.